Well, that's rationing of care, no
Right.
matter how you add it up. And that's going to force physicians and hospitals to basically comply with that type of mentality, and then, you know, either that or you don't get paid, basically. And it's devastating. It's going to be devastating to our healthcare system, because you're going to see less, physicians are not going to be able to continue to practice under this system. And if there are major cuts to Medicare, then, you know, doctors are just going to leave. I mean, that's the bottom line. And if you have a major influx of people into the Medicaid system, which is, you know, minimal reimbursement for physicians, that there again, that's going to be cutting what physicians are making. And it's not just about the money. It's about liability.
Right.
It's about the fact that physicians will be forced to comply with something that they just don't believe in. And they will choose to leave. And, you know, we'll never have enough doctors, so, you know, we're going to see quality of care decrease. Why would we ever do anything that would knowingly cause a decrease in quality of care? And I've heard others say, in fact, I think I've heard Joe Biden say, well, why do we think we have to have such great health care here in the United States? You know, as if, why would we ever want the best as Americans, you know? I mean, that is just unbelievable to me. And, you know, it's going to be devastating to the economy as well. I mean, it's never, the numbers are never going to add up. It's going to be incredibly more expensive than they've tried to say that it is. They've already proven that. And it's just a ball that's going to continue to roll down the hill and turn into a massive, you know, it's just a monster is what it is. Right.
That was my next point with Etheridge is a member of the New Democrat Coalition. It's a group that claims to be moderate pro-business Democrats. Well, I don't see how they can be when he supported Obamacare, and it's recently been reported that places like White Castle and IHOP, they're going to suffer financially due to the passage of this health care legislation, which he supported. It's going to cause them to either hire less people or to drop in insurance coverage or even close up some franchises. So, besides the impact on our quality of health, it's going to have an impact on the quality of our lives due to decreased unemployment and higher prices. So where else do you see their agenda harming us economically, and how do you differ from Etheridge in the way you would approach this? I mean, we have a serious fiscal issues here. I saw a graph the other day that said that it's going to take us to 2022 to get back to pre-recession unemployment levels, even if we have like incredible growth every month, which we haven't been. So, well, the other issue, and you know that's pending right now. You know, Bob Etheridge voted for the House form of the Cap and Trade bill, and you know now of course it's the Senate has their version, and, you know, at some point, probably not too far in the future, they're going to be voting on that as well. If cap and trade goes through, that is going to be, again, incredibly devastating to our economy. First of all, it's years. You know, the thought that you're going to purchase as a business carbon credits, which is nothing more than a piece of paper that's going to go to a broker, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely modern
ridiculous.
Day indulgences.
It's the biggest scam.
Yeah.
It is to me the scam of the 21st century. But at the same time, and you know, which our president has openly discussed, the fact that energy costs for individual homes and businesses are, and I believe these are his own words, naturally going to skyrocket. Now, how are we as individuals going to be able to afford that? And how are businesses going to be able to incur that type of cost and still continue to grow by hiring employees? There again, even if businesses right now they've cut everything that they could cut up to this point, they're making ends meet, and there are these inherent problems that are hanging over us. You know, we don't know all the taxation that's going to come from the health care bill. They can only anticipate what cap and trade will do to them. course, the Bush tax cuts are sundowning, and as of January 1st, all of our taxes are going up. So all of these things are hanging over businesses, and they're saying even if I have a little bit of capital built up right now and wanted to hire someone, I can't because I don't know what this president and his supporters are going to do to me.
Exactly. They can't plan ahead. They can't try and hire new people because they don't know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. And so, if anything, they may have, like you said, they may have to cut staff to continue on. In order, if the question is, do I stay in business or do I continue to try to employ people that I cannot afford, they're going to have to let the people go. It's just, there's no question.
Right, and they try and make it out to be the big evil businesses, but I know so many small business owners that have had to lay people off, and they've tried to prevent it in every way possible. They've taken pay cuts themselves. Somebody I know isn't even taking a salary anymore, and it kills him every time he has to lay somebody off, and that's the climate that we have now. They're not encouraging job growth. They're hindering it.
Absolutely. And they're just, and then for our vice president to be out there now speaking, going around the country, and our president talking about how the stimulus package, of course the stimulus package worked. Look at the jobs we're creating, is absolutely ridiculous. Well, I think our president, now I may be wrong, but I'm originally from Michigan, so I believe he was up in Michigan at a battery plant, and if you do the math, each job that apparently they created 300 jobs, apparently, with the stimulus package. But if you do the math, that's actually $500,000 per job. Now, does that make any sense whatsoever? The biggest problem here is that our president does not know how to function in the free enterprise system.
Right.
He is not a business person. He has no clue about business. And yet here he is creating these artificial jobs which are costing the taxpayers, millions and millions and billions of dollars. And it is absolutely insane.
Yeah, he and his administration, a lot of them, they've never worked in the private sector.
8% of his administration, I think, when you take into account the czars and everything that he's kind of got advising him, I think they came up with about 8% of them have had any kind of business background whatsoever.
They've never had to make a payroll. They just know their ivory tower. They don't know the real world at all.
Exactly. They live in that, elitist academia world where, everything looks good on paper and in theory, but then when you apply it to the real world, it doesn't work. Right.
That's what I always say. They only know theory. They don't know how to do anything at all in practice. They just don't. And then there's something that is a big issue of mine. You received recently the endorsement of the Susan B. Anthony list.
Yes.
And they said North Carolinians and all American women deserve the pro-life feminine leadership of Renee Ellmers so capably provides. And they talked about a new women's movement which affirms its original pro-life roots. It's making its way to the House of Representatives, and Ellmers is one of the brightest new stars. This kind of, to me, goes back to why you entered the race in the first place, like so many women are doing now. We weren't purposely recruiting women, which I think is a good thing because that's just like a new form of identity politics, but I don't think we had to do so because women now, conservative women aren't perpetual victims. So we were just, going about our lives, trying to raise our families and trying to do the best we could. But the Democrats have made that harder and harder to do so and are actually striving to make that impossible. So we're moving toward the forefront. So it's kind of that Mama Grizzlies thing. So I was wondering if that kind of had any part of your decision.
I think what you see, especially being a nurse, I see so many of the issues that are affecting us from that personal family standpoint. You know,
right.
I don't know about you, but I am tired of being made out to be some, you know, throwback from the 1800s.
Right.